Welcome to the Encouragement Conquers All podcast with Justin Fatica, the podcast for people who want to learn how to be the most encouraging person on the planet and enhance their encouragement superpowers. Now here's your host, Justin.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Justin Fatica, if you don't know who I am, and today we're talking about what we do every week. Is how are you? Are you an atheist? I want to know, how are you the most encouraging person on the planet? Are you an agnostic? Are you a Jew, a Christian, Hindu? Are you Christian? Are you Catholic? Whatever you are, whatever your belief system are. My question is, how are you going to be the most encouraging person on the planet? That's the question we all have to ask. That's what everybody wants in this great nation. Well, come on, come tell me. Comment about it, share about it, build it up. We want to know, who is the most encouraging person on the planet? I, of course, as you know, believe it's Jesus Christ. Who do you believe it is? I don't know. Is it a who? Is it a what? You got to figure that out. We've had all kinds of guests on. We've had comedians. We've had writers. We've had American activists. But you know what? I got two special guests today. These are some young guys. I actually work with them on a daily basis. They actually live out in Columbus, and I've got a gift that they came here in Syracuse, New York, where our other office is, and I got a gift to be able to spend some time with them today, and they're going to help us find out how we can be the most encouraging person on the planet. We've got Alex, Ruston, and Jacob DiSanza. Bring them on. Here they are. These are our guys. These two guys, these strapping young guys. That's who they are. All right, boys? So my question for you is, first of all, tell people here, they might not know who you are. They might know who you are. They might have met you before at an event or in Columbus or the work that you do. But share a little bit about yourself. How about you, Alex? You start. Share, what your story is and how did you find out the truth of life and what life's all about?
Yeah, so I'm Alex Ruston. I was born and raised in Syracuse, New York. I've kind of been around the mission for the last 4 to 5 years, and this is my first year working with the ministry. So I'll be running sports outreach out in Columbus, and I'm super excited. But I come from a sports background myself. I played football, basketball, baseball in high school, and that was really a big component for me, and finding my faith and finding who I am as a man, and just kind of being able to share that with other people is a huge gift, so I'm excited to do that this year.
Yeah, but when you came to decide to go help kids, was it the most encouraging response from everybody when you say, hey, I'm going to give up a year and go help young people? Were people pumped? Were people excited? Were they in between? What was how's the reaction been for people?
Yeah, I think it's across the board. Some people are super excited, it's some people are wow, that's great. It's you're giving back to the
quarterback coach, right? What did he say?
My quarterback coach, Coach Nettie, is one of my favorite people alive, but he was one of the most encouraging people in my life. But I called him yesterday. I'm getting breakfast with him tomorrow. I told him what I'm doing for next year, and he's like, oh man, that's great. It's oh Alex, I'm so proud of you. That's just so encouraging for me to hear, because I've had a lot of positive reactions. I've had a lot of negative reactions, and but through it all, it's I know that there's a greater purpose. I know that there's people out there that need our encouragement, that need our help, that I'm ready to be there for.
Yeah, and so that's the goal here. We're finding out ways to help, especially young people. That's what we're going to focus on today. And Jacob, you've been with us for about 4 out of 5 years, right? I think that's what it is now. 4 out. You're gone for a year, and share what do you think young people need now, and you yourself, what did you need as a young person? What got you here?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Jacob. I'm 23 years old, born in Erie, Pennsylvania. Like Justin said, I've been with the mission for a while now, and so I think for me, the greatest need that I had as a young person, and how I got to this place now is people who believed in me from the beginning, and without me even believing in myself. So that's something I came to realize. So I grew up in a great Catholic family, great moral Christian background, and I was at a place in my life, especially in high school, when I didn't quite believe in myself, what I was doing. I was just kind of filling holes in my life that I thought needed to be filled with either sports or activities or clubs in school, friends in my life, and my family was a huge root for me that I didn't really tap into. And why I say that is because what I think young people need is they need people who believe in them even when they push back, right? So my mom loved me no matter what, even though I was pushing on her a ton. And now that I'm older now, 23 now, I can look back and I can thank her for that.
For sure.
Because if she would have rejected me, if she would have pushed back when I was in that spot in life, I think I would have tanked and went downhill even more than I was. But she held firm and believed in me no matter what.
Yeah, and share your story, Jacob. Just, a lot of young people that come here in different ways, but you have an unbelievable story.
Sure.
And basically, from my perspective, what young people need to know, that no matter what trial or challenge that they face, like your mother faced a trial early on in life, and she was an encouragement even though she was discouraged.
Yeah, my mom's a hero. So part of my story, so when I was 16 years old, so like I said, I grew up in a great Catholic family. When I was 16 years old, my mom and my dad take me to a room. They begin to just kind of they sit me down and start to talk to me, and my mom starts to cry in front of me. And I've really never seen my mom cry in front of me. She begins to tell me that when she was younger, around 20 years old, she ended up getting pregnant, conceiving me as a child, and with a boyfriend that she was seeing at the time. It was like a happenstance thing, 1 in a million thing. But her boyfriend wanted nothing to do with the baby, with her at the moment, and actually told her go ahead and get an abortion. And my mom, being the faithful woman she is, chose life. And as a 20-year-old young lady, she chose life, and she ended up carrying out the term pregnancy, and there I was born. Jacob was born. But as a 16-year-old kid, I found this out for the first time. So, and this was at a time in my life where I had no real foundation besides my family, so I was shook. But I'm a pretty reserved person with my emotions, and so I kind of stuffed those things. And so this was a challenge for me growing up, really wrestled with myself. And so to kind of short-term track the story is I grew up with this challenge my whole life, with my dad at home, with just my story, and I never met my biological father in my life. Came to hard as nails, started working through these things, and I started to really realize and dig deep into what this story really meant for my life. And through this, I've realized my mom was a hero, risen in the ashes. And not only did she choose life, not only did she believe in me, not only did she carry this burden and push past all this, but she never once doubted the call for my life. And through that has come a lot of healing. I actually met my biological father when I was 22 years old at a happenstance experience in a chicken wing shop back home in Erie, PA, one of my favorite spots, and I was able to encourage him.
Wow, you encouraged him despite that?
Yeah, despite it, yeah. And so it was because of the people that believed in me and that let me know who I was, that I was able to tell him and not hurt him in the moment. I was able to look him in the eyes and love him like I was loved.
Yeah, that was one of the more for me in my walk and helping people, watching you do that. That fired me up. Yeah. If you could do that, any kid could do that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many kids that don't have dads or didn't have their biological father in their life, and you were able to keep them going. And I think young people need to know that they can be a hero as well. I think you're being a hero in that way, and you as well, Alex. I mean, I remember when we first started hanging out, you'd always have girl talk. We'd talk about the lady friends you have, and I'm sure a few ladies might like you or whatever. And you had to give up a young lady who probably wasn't maybe the best for you personally, wasn't the best move for you, or maybe it was the best move for you. But tell them about how you had to make some tough choices there in life, and to do the right thing, to be the most encouraging person. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions. So share about your life and some of the decisions you've had to make.
Yeah, for sure. I think just on my journey, it's I think in high school I was built up by a lot of amazing coaches, a lot of amazing mentors who really believed in me, who really encouraged me and built me up. And then I think transitioning to college, I had to make some decisions on my own, right? It's what was really important in my life? What were the things that were gonna, not just change my own life, but change the life of somebody else. And to me, what I found was it was my prayer time and my commitment to the Lord, and my commitment to my family, and my family to come as well. And through that, I think I had to rearrange some things, right? I think my relationships and my friendships had to change, and I think just my, including like romantic relationships and that sort of thing had to change. And I think just all of those changes, those sacrifices, God really honored, and he blessed me with just such an amazing community. It's like I'm sitting with two of the best guys I know right now.
I appreciate that.
And it's just he honored those choices. I think I spent some time in high school where I was a little bit like I was lonely. It's like I had the same charismatic kind of personality, same spirit. It's like I was friends with everybody, but deep down I was really lonely. It's like I didn't have really those close friends. And I think God, it's like when we are faithful, he honors that. And he's blessed me with so many amazing people in my life now. And I'm just so grateful to have that and to share this life with that many people, and just to be on an adventure and share it with people is exciting.
For sure. And to be the most encouraging person, loneliness can kind of be the opposite of that. So there's a lot of lonely people. How do you think people get through loneliness? What are your thoughts? How did you get through that, and how can other people get through that?
I think for me is I had these different communities, right? And I wasn't really like set in one of them. So I had the basketball guys, I had the football guys, and I kind of got along with everybody. But internally, it's like I think I turned to prayer, and in that lonely state is where God needed to like lift me up, right? And through that, I think I think there were a lot of like doubts and like second guesses that I had, and a lot of things that I was just like wrestling with, but I just made a commitment. It's like I want to do the right thing, because I know that other people are counting on me to do the right thing, and I know that if I start to slip up here, if I start to go down the wrong path, I know I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. And I know that if I do the right thing, God's going to honor that, and he's going to bring the people into my life. And I think sometimes it takes that act of faith to really to lean into that trust, like to experience that. And so I think I needed to go through a couple of years where I felt that loneliness, and I felt that because that's what was drawing me in. Like that was drawing me into my faith. That was drawing me in outside of myself to help other people. And being drawn into that, God honored that, and I think he blessed it down the road, like giving me these relationships, giving me these friendships, giving me brotherhood, giving me mentors. And
so what you're saying is loneliness could be the encouragement.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
It could be.
No, because maybe somebody's lonely right now and they say, crap, I'm lonely. Well, maybe that's going to lead them to the encouraging people.
For sure.
That could help them, that could lead them. What's helped you, Jacob, through, because I think in your culture, from my perspective, you're one of the most loneliest. I mean, I don't mean to diss your era or anything, but like when I see I've been lonely, but I never seen loneliness. Like I was recently hanging out with my family and seeing a lot of people looking in their eyes. I'm like, these people are lonely, man. It seems like, they say a pandemic of loneliness. I mean, man, so how do you get through that as a young person? I'm interested.
Yeah, I think beforehand, if you would have asked me that like 5 years ago, I would have said, got more friends. Just
get more friends.
Just get more people. But I think that whenever I struggle with loneliness, and it happens, like sometimes.
Of course, yeah. Like all of us.
It's just life. But I think when I feel those emotions of loneliness, like I have to look and see where the root is in my life. So whenever I struggle with loneliness a lot, it's when I'm feeling like I'm not doing anything, like with my life, So like I'm not on a purpose, like a purposeful path or a mission, or at least what I perceive, right? Because your perception can sometimes pull you away. So I think that for me, it's having, some sort of something to cling on and something to go forward with, always pulls me forward, like always pulls me up, is having like a mission for my life. And then from that, like hand to hand is what kind of Alex was saying, or what he led to, is having one or two people in my life that I know, who know me, and that can pull me out of that. Like, I think sometimes it's okay to have people pull you out of that. At least that's what's been helpful for me.
Who's somebody that pulls you out of it in your life, that pulls you out of loneliness?
Yeah, I think right now in my life, I got a couple. I think back home, I think my mom is one of those people. Yeah. She just kind of snaps me out of it, you know. She kind of more of it's like a wake-up call for me when I'm struggling. She's like, well, what are you doing? Your life is like this, it's like this. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. You know, I'm all right. So my mom's one of those for sure. And then just brothers in my life, like Alex is a good one for that. People who you can smile around and that know it's not just the shallow surface level, that they're there in your life for a deeper reason.
Yeah.
It's one for sure.
I chime in too.
Go for it.
I think like for me too is finding people that actually care about me, like that aren't just going to use me for a purpose, you know. Sure. It's like, I think I had a lot of people that, you know, they were my sports buddies, or they're my buddies in this class, right? And those are like friendships of like use, right? It's like we're just kind of using each other, bouncing each other off. Like, they didn't really care about me. It's like they didn't care about where I was headed and what I was doing, and probably I didn't care for them as well. But to go into that like deeper level, to have friendships where it's like, listen, it's like, I care about you. I'm gonna tell you something even if it's difficult, you know, that you need to hear, I think is important. And for me, I think it took that season of like loneliness to like wait for that, right? And trusting that those friendships are gonna come. And I think just like, if there's anybody out there that's really like in that season right now, is I think just know that you're not alone, and like people have been there, and to continue to reach out, because there are people that are going to care for you. And God's going to send people in your life that are going to care for you, and like he did to mine, like he did to Jacob's. And I think just that's a huge piece to my life and to my journey, just to have people that care about me. It just has changed my life.
Yeah, and I think there are two things that I think bring people out of loneliness. One is go encourage somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
You know, we had somebody, another podcast, they're sharing, like, look, the greatest way you can encourage someone is realize it's not about you anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it hits you hard, like, oh man, all right, man, maybe I need to look at that. But we need to get out of ourselves and serve others.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have this like sense that, oh, everything's gonna just come to us. I think when we go out and serve others, and that's what I see you two doing, you're less lonely. Sure, you're lonely. That's life.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a gift, like we said. It can be a gift to help you to understand what encouragement's all about. But also, it's a gift when you can go out and encourage others and help them through something. Because sometimes, you know, I know for me, like, I'll speak through what I'm going through. I think every great speaker, they sometimes are speaking like through what they're going through. Yeah. You know, and having that gift of faith and that gift of belief. We were just talking about something like that today. We're talking about faith. And, you know, like, I'm always challenging on this show. You guys, you might not watch the other shows, guys, but if you watch them, like, I'm like, who's the most encouraging person on the planet? Like, you know, what can you do to be the most, and I'm just throwing it, for me, being Catholic, being Christian, that's the way to be the most encouraging person on the planet. Yeah. One thing we do here, though, that I do with you guys, you might not realize I do it, but I do it, as I always ask you, like, what are your desires? What are your dreams? Because I think sometimes, like, when we work with people or we're on a team, we sometimes can just care about our dreams or what we're thinking of. And, you know, just share a little bit, you know, what you touched my heart when you shared, you know, like one of your dreams you shared about, like, have like a camp for kids. And it might start out just for 1 week, but maybe it could be a whole summer for kids, because you had that experience. Yeah. And, you know, I love, like, when I think another way to encourage is just that you want other people's dreams to happen. So what's one dream that you want to see happen that, you know, these guys who are listening can encourage you guys? Maybe there's something out there to help you make it happen.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Sure, yeah, just was sharing. So I, ever since I was a little kid, my mom and my dad always sent me to these summer camps. A lot of them where I did ROTC in high school. So like military camps, state police camps. And I just found this like complete joy. It's just like you go away from a week from home, you go and you're away from your parents, you find these new friends, you're like doing this one task this whole week. And so one of my dreams on my heart is, relating to my story, is I'd love to start a camp that is based off of mentorship and discipleship of young boys to men. And so it's like you have kids especially who have dealt with father wounds of either their father leaving them or the foster care, and they are sent to this camp and handpicked. Because some of these camps I went to, like somebody chose me to go to. And so like they're handpicked and said, I want you to go to this. This is a dream of my heart I've had since probably like 12 years old. I like started thinking about that. So yeah, summer camp.
And this summer, we don't know, we're gonna do something though, right,
we'll
Jacob?
see.
Right now?
We'll see.
That's the goal. What about for you, Alex? What's the dream that you have on your heart?
Yeah, a dream that I've always had is I want to work with athletes, right? And I'm able to do that this year, and I'm really excited about it. But I just want to be able to work with athletes to be able to see the big picture. It's like outside of the court, outside of the field. Like, what are the principles that you learned, like as an athlete, that you can go out and like change the world with? That you can go out and really make a difference in somebody else's life. Because I think for me I always struggled with that, because it's like I learned so much about who I am, like as a man, like on the basketball court or like on the football field, and so much about like who I am through there. But it was always ended about me. It's like it was always about me, and like I kind of got like the praise with that. And I just want to like, how do you take like what you learned like on the basketball court, like what you learned on the football field, and take it to go encourage somebody else? To take that thing and go and impact somebody else's life. And I think if we had, a country full of athletes that are willing to do that, right? It's like they're willing to step up. It's like they lay down, they're out there grinding for their teams. Like they're out there working hard for their teams. But if they're like working hard and working towards something that's bigger, something that's going to impact somebody else's life, something that's going to, lift up those who are really hurting, something that's going to really encourage someone who has nobody to be there for them. I think you see a country that is healed and renewed and brought back to life, because I think just right now is like the athletes are the role models, right? And you got the NFL, NBA, it's like they're all the top dogs around. Yeah. And so if you can have those guys that are laying down their life for other people, then you create a world where truly it's like nobody's suffering alone, but you're building up the weak person in this nation. And it's like I'm just super passionate about that, and I'm excited to see where God leads that in my life.
Yeah, and I've seen that, as coaching our guys, that like when you can be in their life and really be a presence, all of a sudden it like motivates them to want to be a presence for others.
Yeah.
They want to go, because I think it's just paying it forward. That's what you guys are doing. Yeah. You guys are doing that, through your stories, through your lives. But who do you think for you, I always say, my grandmother is one of my top 5 most encouraging people in my life. And I've got, I got this guy, Danny Bugs, he's on one of the podcasts, he's one of my big encouragers. Ken Blanch, another one. Yeah. But who would be your, encouragers? Who are your, you said your quarterback coach there. Yeah. Jacob, who was one of the big, and you said your mother, but outside of your mother. Outside of your mom, well, your mother, by the way,
she's the best.
Unbelievable. She's tough to top. She's tough to top. Dude. Yep, she's tough to top. Who would be one of the most encouraging people in your life, and why?
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I would say one of my buddies from high school. His name is Kyle Tharp. I love you, buddy. The best.
You can tag him on this when you put it out there. Big Kyle, the most encouraging. Anybody out there, you better tag the most encouraging person on the planet for you.
He's the type of guy where I could do all the wrong in the world and he'd still pat me on the back.
Oh yeah.
But no, he's great. He I met him freshman year of high school. Locked in this friendship with this kid, and he's been with me ever since. His loyalty to me has been great. And when I started to have my conversion, he still stuck with me. I lost a lot of friends.
For sure.
Stuck with me through that. And every time I come back home, I'm always hanging out with him, going to lunch with him. He's such a guy that will put himself before me, and he'll just listen and just be an ear. So he's top 5 for me. Kyle.
All right, Kyle.
We love you, buddy.
Shout out to you, Big Kyle. How about for you, Alex? Who's one of the most encouraging persons?
Of course, my mom too.
Oh man,
my mom and my dad.
All these mothers, throw your dad in there.
Mom saved the world. And my dad too. My dad just really taught me grit. Just to be courageous and to get through difficult things. And my little brother Andrew also is just his presence in my life is it gives me something to, you know, I'm a role model, you know, and it gives me something to live for, just being there for my brother. Outside of them, I'd say there are two coaches that come to mind. One is Coach Nettie, of course, and the other one's Coach Dolph. So Coach Nettie was my quarterback coach in high school, and he's an older guy. He's just one of the most amazing like mentor figures I think I've had in my life, because, and it took me a little bit to like really appreciate it, you know. It's like he drove me nuts the first couple of weeks, because it's like every like little play, you know, it's like every little thing he was like correcting. I remember we had our like drop steps, and I had to have my foot a certain like way, and it had to be at 6 o'clock, like on a clock, you know. I had to drop back to 6 o'clock, and I remember like I wasn't at 6 o'clock, I was at 5 o'clock. If I was at 5 o'clock, you know it, you know. It's like, no, Alex, you're at 5 o'clock, you need to be at 6 o'clock. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But
did it help you?
But it helped me. It helped me. Here's the point. I got to 6 o'clock. I got to 6 o'clock.
Every time?
But yeah. Probably not every time.
Okay.
But the point is that he believed in me. You know, he believed in me enough to push me like beyond my comfort zone, beyond what I thought I could do. And I'll never forget it. That there was one throw that I kind of struggled with, and I struggled making this play, and he kind of knew it, and you know, we got to a point where we're in this game, right? And it's like tied up, and you know, it's like 4th down, and they call this play, right? And make the play, make the throw, and it's like a game-winning touchdown. And you're going back, and like we have our Saturday morning film, and I'm looking at the film, and I see Coach Nettie. Now, Coach Nettie, he's 80-some years old. He's on the sidelines, jumping up and down, like he was so excited, like he was so pumped that like I made this play. Yeah. Because he just cared about me, like, and he wanted me to be the best that I could possibly be. And it took me a little bit to actually appreciate that. But now I think looking back, to have him in my life was just so, wow. It just impacted me so much. And then another one, Coach Dolph. He was just, he had this motto, right? Now he was with me, he was like my elementary school gym teacher, and he was with me like all the way up through. So he was like elementary school, then he got transferred to the middle school. Oh my goodness. And then he was like my JV football coach, and he had this slogan that he said every single day, that it's a great day to be great. Right? It's like
you said you want to make t-shirts of that.
Yeah, I love it. But it's like, it was every day you walk into this gym class, and he always said it's a great day to be great. And as a young kid, that stuck with me, you know, because I remember just going through high school, like some days are better than others. And, you know, it's just like, if I had a day where I was struggling, where I was just like in my head, or, you know, not doing well, or I didn't want to go. Like, I didn't want to go to practice, I didn't want to go to class, or that sort of thing. Like, I had Coach Dolph, like, always in my head, it's a great day to be great, you know? And I think I still, like, I wake up and I think in the morning, you know, it's like I think about Coach Dolph, you know, it's a great day to be. Coach Dolph had such a big impact on my life just by that one like phrase, like that one thing that, you know, I heard as a little kid has stuck with me, you know, 10 years down the road. And just I think that's the power of encouragement, right? Is I don't think we really understand or see the effect that we have on other people, especially like a positivity, right? It's like that positive effect. Legacy in your life. And he did. He impacted my life a great deal, and so those are a couple that come to mind.
Well, yeah, you guys are talking about hard work principle, leaving a legacy principle. These are things that I share about in the book that I wrote. And the bottom line is at the end of the day, you know, to be an encouragement takes hard work. To be an encouragement, we have to stick with something, be consistent. I see a lot of young people now, they're very inconsistent. They believe one thing one day, they don't believe it the next day. They go do this, then they give up. You know, just so you know, it's a crazy stat, but over 50% of your culture right now doesn't even have their biological father in their life. Over 50%. Like that they're not in their life on a regular basis. So right now, like, what do we do? Like, what does our country do? You're young Jedis, young leaders, young gifts to this world. Like, what do you tell people? Like, do you just give up right now? Or you know, how do we encourage? How do we keep going? How do we push forward? What does it matter to be a coach? Does it matter to be a friend? How much does it matter, and why? Jacob, what are your thoughts? Like, doesn't even matter anymore because it's just so seems like it's bad. It seems like, from my perspective, and a lot of the things that I see, it seems everything's about what people do. It's not about like who people are anymore. So how do we fight this battle?
Yeah, I think that it's crazy because I have a lot of these conversations with my friends that are my age, and a lot of them are caught up in this like terrible cycle of always needing something. Like they're always searching, always like they're never content with just being in the moment. And I think it creates this like uneasiness, like this unsettledness, and you never can like stay consistent when you're always like restless. So I think what needs to happen, and that has really been a huge thing in my life, is being okay with just like being with yourself for a moment.
Okay.
And like sitting with yourself. Because I think it does matter what
sitting
you do.
in silence.
Yeah, sitting in silence. But why I say that, like to kind of circle back, is like it matters so much what you do because of who you are. So like if you didn't matter as a person, you know, it wouldn't matter what you do. So like I think yes, the answer is yes. What you do does matter. Like if you become a great friend, if you are a great husband, if you are a great father, if that's what you're called to do, if you're a great mailman, be the greatest mailman there is, right? Because what you do does matter because of who you are as a person, right? For me in my life right now, I'm a friend, I'm a brother to people. What it does matter is the words that come out of my mouth matter to my friends, to my brothers, because of who I am. So yes, of course it does. Even if you're in the worst spot in life, it still matters every ounce of what you do because of who you are.
What about for you? You got some young parent there, or you've got a young coach, and they're having a challenge with these young people, motivating them. Bill, that's what you guys are doing on a regular basis. You're motivating young people. You're working with young people. You're caring for young. So what do we do? How do we do that?
I think, like you said, with the consistency piece, I think every single day, like valuing every single day and taking every day one day at a time. You know, it's like I think that motto for me, right? It's a great day to be great.
Yeah.
Is, you know, there were a lot of days that were really hard, like especially in high school. You know, there's a lot of days it was hard to get through. You know, it's like I didn't want to do this, but I think for me, that consistency took like, I had to kind of detach from my thoughts, emotions, or like feelings about a certain thing to realize that there's greater purpose in it, right? To realize that, you know, it's like if I go and do the right thing today, it's like if I go and do what I need to do today, it's like, you know, right now I don't necessarily want to, but I know if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it. You know, it's like if I push forward and do the thing that I feel called to do today, I'm going to reap the benefits of that later. And I think approaching every single day with a fresh start, right? Approaching every single day is like, okay, today's a gift. It's like, I'm going to give it all I got today because I know that there are people that are counting on me. I know that I can make a difference. And like Jacob said, it's like that's rooted in who you are, right? It's like if you know who you are, then you know that you can make a difference in somebody else's life. Not by necessarily even the things that you do. I think the things that you do, like that's the desires of your heart, you know. It's like for me, you know, it's like I have this passion for the athletes, right? And I think that, you know, that's great. But if that's not somebody else, maybe you're a music guy. You know, it's like you can impact somebody's life in the regular, like everyday things that you love to do. And I think starting each day on that clean slate, right? It's like, okay, today's a new day. It's like, okay, yesterday I messed up. It's like I fell behind doing this. I fell behind doing that. But today I'm gonna give it all I got again, and just to enter into each day giving everything I got, because you know that each day has purpose, because you matter and you have purpose.
Okay, so who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
It's like I'm a son. I'm a son, and I'm a brother, and you know, just to rekindle that identity every day. Like I said, like my younger brother is a huge encouragement for me in my life, because as I know that I want to be a good role model to him. You know, it's like I know that I can have an impact on his life, and I want to love him and be there for him. You know, it's like I always tell him, it's like, Andrew, listen, man, it's like, you don't understand it yet, but you're gonna do great things. You know, it's like you don't get it, you know, but like you're gonna do great things. And it's like, I believe in you. If nobody else believes in you, just know that I believe in you.
Yeah,
and you know, just to have that, like, you know, just to know that, like, I'm a son and I'm his brother, and there's people in my life that are, you know, counting on me to be there for him. It just keeps me going every day, because if I didn't have that, and if I'm living for myself, then I get discouraged, you know. It's like I wouldn't keep going doing anything. If it's just about me, then what's the point? So
Who are you there, Jacob? Who are you? Because in manhood, I think, from my perspective, what I see, it's just people seem so confused.
Yeah.
My grandmother said, I always bring up my grandmother. She gets like a quote every week on these podcasts.
Write it down.
But she says, it's just so confusing for these young people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't even know who they are or what they are anymore. Like, she goes, I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me. You know, like, she goes, before, like, we knew what we were. We knew who we were. Like, they don't even know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but like it's so interesting. Like, so when I ask these questions, who you are, there's somebody listening. I promise you.
Yeah.
There's somebody, they have no freaking clue who they are, and you can give them the answer of life. So who are you?
Yeah. When I was 18 years old,
Yeah.
I came to Hard as Nails Ministry, and they did this exercise with me, and it changed my life. And I literally, for some people, they don't like tattoos, but I got my first tattoo. And my first tattoo it's the Righteous Protector. It's a spiritual name that God gave me when I was 18 years old. And this has like been part of my mission statement for life. It's been part of my why for my life right now, and it's helped me so much. Because what that name speaks to me is God saying to me, like, you're my righteous protector. And what that means to me is it's a man who follows God's will no matter what, and who lays down his life for someone. And for me, that mission statement, that name that God has given me in my life, has changed my life forever, because I can always go back to that when I'm discouraged, when I'm lonely, when I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I am the righteous protector. That's me.
No money or all the money. No job or all the jobs.
That's who I am.
All right?
Down deep, no matter what.
No, I love that. I mean, that's something I've done for my kids when they're in the womb. I hope every one of you guys does this with your kids, that you give them that name. I hope we can start like a trend all through across America. Anybody could do that. I think it's one of the greatest way to be the most encouraging person on the planet. That's what I think, is that you give your kids names, and when they're in really big trouble, like really big trouble, when they're in little trouble, you know, get them in order. But then when your kids are in really big trouble, you go, who are you? And they're like, oh man,
seriously,
don't do it, Dad.
Seriously.
And then they know, oh, I'm thankful. So, are you living your name and everything? No. All right, we'll get back to
seriously. It's the why.
Yeah. So and you never change. And I think we need to get that, and that's what you guys give me. I mean, I love you guys. You know, this is a conversation. Us talking, and we could do this all day long. Yeah. And why I love these young men, and we're actually one of the only missions, I just want to say, it's in America at least, that has more men serving. Now, people might say, you know, judge us, mock us, whatever. We'll be all woked up right now. But we have more men serving in our mission than women. Not that we don't love women. We love beautiful women, right? That can serve the mission. Nothing wrong with that. If you're a beautiful woman, you want to serve the mission, it's fine. But we also, we say that, and we believe in that.
Yes.
Like, there are more men serving this mission. Why? I know why it's important to me, but in our mission to go awaken the world to the power of God's love, to bring a sensitivity to people suffering and caring for them. Why is that so important, do you think, Jacob? Why do you think that we do have more men serving here than women? That's a big deal to us at Hard as Nails.
Yeah, I think right now, especially in the culture, this is a physical culture.
Yeah.
Right, so I think when we have, at least what I've seen this last 4 years of my life is, especially for a young man who knows who he is, who knows self-control, who knows his identity in Christ, he's able to be that physical, that mental, that spiritual, like, father to other people who don't have that. So as a young man, I'm able to look people in the eyes and to share the Father's love with them, to be an encouragement to them. And there's a great father wound in our nation right now.
Yeah.
And so raising, like, I think it's great. I think we need more. I would love for more people to be like, no, we got more men than you.
Yeah,
You know, I'd love
it wouldn't bother me one bit.
It creates
Job well done.
because we need more heroes. We
Yeah.
need more people to stand up and to do what is right. That's what we need. It's a need. It's no longer a want. It's a need in our nation, and we need that. And we need men to step up. So it creates that culture for us.
Yeah, and right now, like, you know, something that you might not know, I'll share with you today. These two might not, but, you know, we're going to build, like, for every great men's conference there is across the country, we're going to have an all-boys conference. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like, you know what I mean? That can be, like we were talking about when we went and traveled, and we said, look, we can help you with this.
Yeah.
You guys have these men, we're going to have an all-boys conference, but we're going to be jousting.
Oh, yeah. Sign me up.
We're going to be, like, having competitions and getting the kids excited, mud wrestling, you know, like the whole deal.
I love it.
You know, but the whole point, but men like that, and that's something that I've always, you know, I love when young men say yes to be, you know, heartfelt, meaning choose virtue, choose what is right. There's something about that.
Yeah.
For me, when I see a young guy like you two guys going, no, I want to live for what's right. I want to be pure-hearted. I want to be a great dad. It's great when a woman does that, and that's beautiful in its own right. But guess what? When a man does it, there's something. What are your thoughts? What's the uniqueness to have more men involved with our mission? And what does that mean to you, Alex?
I would just say men are like the backbone, you know? It's like, I feel like they're like the backbone of like society. It's like things are like built off of men, and especially in the title of father. Yeah. You know, it's like if we could create a nation that has great fathers, then everything else follows suit from that, because just I think the identity of a father, right? It's like the father is like the head of a family, and if the father like knows like who he is, then I think the family knows who they are. Right? It's like you know, the kids know who they are, their wife knows who she is, and just that title of father, it's like, I mean, that's special because God identifies himself as father, right? And it's like if we can see through the lens of fatherhood, you can see great change being built up, because, you know, men hold that title, they hold that honor of being a father and being a great father. And I think, you know, being a father is one of the most important roles in the world. And if you're able to be a great and encouraging father, then you can have such a tremendous impact.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's always been the role of our mission, and it's the role of all humanity to raise up great men. Mm-hmm. Great men. That is so important. And I just want to thank all the women, though, because what did you guys say?
My mom's
my mom. You know what I mean? You know, but you said that because, let's be real, women are really holding down the fort. Let's be honest here. Women are doing everything and anything, but men need to step it up.
Yes.
And what's one way, like, you know, I know there's many ways, like I share with, you know, our listeners every week, like, you know, that I can become a better man, that I can be a better listener, that I can be a better hero, that I can be more kind and more generous and more sensitive to people's suffering. Yeah. Because our big thing on this show is this. It's like, look, bottom line is this. You can disagree with me 8,000%, but you ain't gonna out encourage me. All right? You could say, you could hate what I have to say, you could love what I have to say, but you better find a way to out encourage us. And that's the kind of man, that's my challenge to myself, doing the show. I gotta do the show, but man, I've gotta be more encouraging.
Yeah, I gotta step it up.
I'm failing. Like, I'm not being very encouraging today. Yeah. I just busted on Alex and Jacob on the show. All right, these guys, I throw them under the bus. Like today, my wife was ready to say something. She's like, all right, don't say that. All right. There you go. But why and how can men be greater encouragers in our society? Because I think if you were to say, okay, men equals, I think the last word they'd say is encourager.
That's a good point.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
No, because I'm a man, I rip on everybody. I mean, you're a man, you rip on everybody? Really? That's what you want to be remembered for? Did you go in the locker room, right? Oh, that's what we do. We, you know, call each other names, and you're a loser, and you garbage, and you know what I mean? Like, and I get there. I'm not some wimp guy that can't take being picked on and mess with you. Yeah. And there's a place for that, but I don't agree with that. What are your thoughts? Like, how can we be an encouraging man? Because I think before you guys came here, that might be your kind of philosophy.
100%.
100%.
You read the room well. That was my life, yeah. I think number one for me is, and this is like in my family right now too, I'm trying to exercise this more, is like, just listen.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
Like, I struggle with just listening, you know, and we're like, no response. just listen and be there, be a presence to them. That's the number one thing I can say.
That's beautiful. Great.
Yeah, I think for me, just getting on and talking about, like, you know, my dad or it's like my coaches, Coach Nettie, Coach Dolph, you know, it's like having that gratitude for the impact and realizing the impact that they had on my life, I think puts that like desire in me to go out and encourage somebody else, you know. And I think reflecting on that and like seeing the ways that I've been built up, that I've been encouraged by other people, and, you know, being thankful for that and receiving that so I can go and like give that to other people.
Yeah, like parents get rejected though by words and by actions. Like mothers, did you ever do that to your mother?
Every day.
Every day. Mothers out there, you're gonna be okay. Alex and Jacob have discouraged you.
We love you. We love you.
No, right? You know, you got, especially with young men. Like I have 4 boys, and they're like, when I get home, it's like, yes, sir. You know, like, you know. But when mom's there, it's like they were discouraging to me today. You know, and like, so how can like mothers and fathers, when they get rejected by their kids and they're pushing back on that love, what should they do? What you know, not that you guys are fathers yet, but maybe being closer to their age, you can kind of like, hey, what would have worked with you, or what could have somebody done better, or maybe what did help you?
Keep loving. Just keep loving.
Keep sucking it up.
Keep loving. My mom drove me nuts as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like every day, you know, she'd tell me like the same things, like every day, and it's like, oh, you don't know how much I love you. Every day, you know. And
that's what she said.
I'll be like, all right, whatever, Mom, come on. It's like whatever. I'm trying to throw a football here, whatever, you know. But now looking back, I realize like how much I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that every single day, and I think about just like as a young kid, you know, it's like middle school, high school, I was a little punk. It's like I rejected her almost every day, you know? It's like,
now you gotta make up for it.
Exactly, you know? But I think just to know that when you love somebody, it's not always gonna be received, but it doesn't mean it just goes to waste, you know? It's like I think now that I'm a little bit older and, you know, hopefully a little bit more mature, it's like I can go and see that, like, how much my mom really loved me and like persevered in loving me despite
so you'd say
anything that I did.
So you'd say keep persevering.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, to fight discouragement, because when we're loving, there's no reason to be discouraged. You know, we just gotta pour out as much love as we can because you know, I was a young kid and I was hurting a lot, and my mom was always there for me. My mom was always there to love me every single day. Even if I didn't acknowledge it or receive it, I knew that she was there for me, and that just meant the world, and it still does today.
How about for you? We'll tell these parents, or maybe somebody out there that maybe they're a kid and they're listening, maybe they're a young adult and they're like they need to go encourage their family. But what would you do to if there's a family member getting rejected? What would you do, Jacob?
I think that I mean, I have a very similar story to Alex. For me, I was the oldest child in my family. Very distant relationship with my mom and my dad. Even though I shared, like, my mom was one of the greatest encouragers in my life, but very distant relationship. Didn't have the repertoire between us. Like, we didn't really converse at all in conversation. Never had family dinners, you know, every once in a while. So I'd say the number one thing I could share to encourage somebody, if you're being rejected in this way, or that you were the rejecter, is that you know, remember, you know, family is family, and that what impacted me was I lost a friend when I was 21 years old from high school, and I realized that was the first friend that was like my age that like passed away, and it really like impacted me because I realized how quickly someone can be taken away. And one of the things that I do on my side is I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I see all the time families that are broken up because of situations, and the last thing I want to do is, you know, say a harsh word to a family member and then never see them again. That would haunt me for the rest of my life. And so I would just, you know, encourage you, just remember that, you know, family is family, and to love no matter what. That's what my mom says every day. She says, I love you no matter what. And she preaches that, and she does it. So love people no matter what, and always remember that, you know, you never know when this person could be ever taken away. So say those words that you would want them to hear, you know, if it was that moment. Let them know how you feel about them, love them no matter what, and always seek to understand before judging.
Yeah, something on a different topic is we have this thing where, like, young people are getting so many voices because of social media. Like, you know, somebody will watch a video, you know, or a podcast like this.
Yep.
Then they'll go watch, you know, Elon Musk.
Yep.
Then they'll go watch Jordan Peterson.
Yep.
Then they'll go watch
Andrew Tate.
Then they'll go watch, who's another guy do you watch? Any of the other guys you watch? Like,
there's just so many.
There's just so many.
It's
It's endless. You're gonna watch this, then you're gonna watch this, you're gonna watch this. You know, and we call that, and, you know, there's people bringing modern wisdom, they say. And then there's truth. What are your thoughts as a young person on that? And, like, where do we go from here? Because it seems like, from my perspective as you know, not in your generation, like, it would wear me out.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do that.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I really only have, like, a few guys that I would push myself towards, just to help to understand other topics and what have you, and to get myself cultured. But outside of that, I'm not in it. But you guys are in it, man. So what do?
Yeah.
What's the truth, damn it? Damn it, what's the truth? That's what the gospel.
We need the truth.
No, you know what I mean? Like, but how do you discover it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I discovered truth from other people.
Okay.
Laying down their life for me.
Okay.
You know, it's like renouncing kind of their own needs.
So it wasn't from a
my
video.
betterment.
So it wasn't
not from a video. No. Not from a video. But I came to truth from other people that were willing to, you know, be there for my benefit and for my good, right? And I think that's what love is, right? It's willing the good of somebody else. And ultimately, I think truth is found in love, right? And we talk about the most encouraging person on the planet being Jesus Christ.
Of course.
I mean, he went to the cross and died. And he poured out everything.
Get somebody more encouraging than that.
Come on. Like,
I want to know.
Yeah. But he gave everything, right? And I think, you know, truth is found in love. And, you know, what greater love is this than to lay down his life for his friends? And that's where I found truth.
It's interesting you bring that up, because, like, the little that I do listen to these other voices, they're saying things like this. Okay, if it's not Jesus, then who?
Yeah.
That's where it's interesting.
Yeah.
This is where we've come to. Like, who is the answer? If Jesus isn't the moral authority, then who?
Yeah.
Who do you got? And, like, I just love that.
Yeah.
Because I think that gives me so much hope in my belief system. Like, that it's so solid. Because what do you got, Zeus? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
who do you, I'm joking.
They're all lame.
Zeus,
They're all lame.
They're all lame. Like, they're all an idea, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all an idea.
Yeah.
You know, Confucius is an idea. Sure, there's great wisdom in Confucius, and wisdom and truth that can connect with Jesus Christ. What are your thoughts, Jacob, on this?
No, it's hard. So, like, I'll
I'm sure you get sucked in a little.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a challenge. Like, I think that, but truthfully speaking, it's so confusing. Like,
what's confusing?
When you're on social media and you see these different videos, because it's like a 10 to 15 second clip of a 3-4.5 hour interview.
Correct.
So, like, literally,
like what we'll do with you guys.
Yeah. Right there you go. So for me, and caught up in this, it gets really challenging, because, like, I hear something that, like, my mind wants to cling to.
Yes.
And it's attractive.
Yeah.
It's like it's attractive, but it's not leading me to anything other than that. It, like, brings me it's like this. It's a rebound. Like, it just comes right back to me. So I think the truth, especially when we talk about, like, Jesus in the gospel, it's like it always brings you to others. It always brings you higher than yourself. Like it doesn't just stay here. And like this modern wisdom thing, it's real. It's like it's a real thing that a lot of people are facing. So I think it can bring fruit, but I think it brings a lot of confusion at times. And it's a challenge for sure. So how do you get out of it? I think you just got to stay away. I think you got to stay away from it. Because it doesn't lead you anywhere. I don't think so. Yeah.
So for you, Jacob, what's success? Like you're let's say you're 70.
Sure.
You're on the fourth quarter. You're figuring closing it out. Let's say
saying my prayers.
Yeah, saying your prayers, hoping you've ate your vitamins, and you're gonna get a few more years here.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there, you can't move as much. You can't go. What do you hope your life's gonna be like?
Yeah.
What's success for you?
Yeah. I wrote down when I was younger. I wrote down on a piece of paper. It was like an exercise. Like, what do I want my gravestone to say?
Yeah.
And I want my life to be like a celebration for others, to celebrate Christ. Like I don't obviously like grieve, but for me success comes from when people can spend time around me and know that the love of God was in me and that they can celebrate their life because of mine. Like they're always so excited, they're grateful, they're encouraging others, they're being more out there, they're being more alive because of my life. And hopefully, I hope that's for me being a father one day and a husband to someone. But I view success in other people's joy for their lives around me.
That's great. Thank you. What about for you, Alex? What's success? You're on the fourth quarter and you've given it everything you got, and you're hoping to finish well and go 80, 90, 20 more years to give it all you got. What's success for you?
I think about just the word family. It's like I love the acronym. I don't know if anybody's heard it, but family, like forget about me, I love you, right?
My buddy, by the way, I just talked to yesterday, has the trademark for that. He actually created that.
That's pretty cool.
He created that. That was his line.
Awesome. Wow.
I knew him like 30. We spoke at conferences together. That guy, he's a great guy.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's terrific. But no, I want to be known for that, right? And I think I remember just being. It's like my senior in high school, I'm still trying to figure out everything, right? And I remember somebody told me, it came up to me and said, it's like, do you just want to be known for a guy that could, throw a football or shoot a basketball? So I don't want to ever be known for something that like goes away, and
great, I love that.
Yeah, and it's just like I really thought about that because up to that point in my life, that's all I really lived for was kind of sports and doing my thing and doing that sort of thing. And I remember at that point, I think that was my first time really thinking, outside of that picture, right? And thinking about family ultimately is what I came to, right? Is I want to have a family of my own one day. It's like I want to have a wife and kids, but more importantly, I think I want to build up, family in this country and families, right? It's like, I think family is more of an overarching term too, is right? It's like I have the brotherhood, right? It's like Jacob's my brother.
Yes, better be.
And to have that, I think it takes, some self-denial. And so I love that. It's just, I want to be remembered, as a man, that, I didn't remember myself. It's like I forgot about myself and I loved other people.
Yeah, and I think you're hitting on something that's so important. That's what living for Jesus is all about, that you love no matter what, that we're all paid for by a price because of the blood of Jesus. His blood covered me, covered you, covered the whole world, covered every atheist, covered every agnostic, Hindu and Jew. We wrote a song early on and we had that little line there. I showed it to my son recently. He's like, whoa, that's the thing you say. I go, yeah, we wrote this song. That's when you're getting old, right? I'm closer to the fourth quarter than you guys. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, what's your call for life? Do you know what your purpose is? And I love, do something that will never end. And that's when I remember my dad questioned me and going, look, you're struggling paying the bills doing that. You're struggling to take care of your family. Why are you doing this God thing? Why are you doing this Jesus thing? Why don't you just be a motivation speaker? I said, Dad, look, I don't mean to be disrespectful to what you believe and everything, but I just got to tell you the honest answer. When I got a kid who's got no dad, he's at one of my events, and I can't tell him about the truth that he's got a God who's his father that loves him very much, I'm going to leave that kid with a nice book and a handshake and a little bit of message.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between modern wisdom and truth. See, modern wisdom ends. It ends with a book, it ends with a nice saying, you know what I mean? It ends with a tagline. But truth never ends. Truth is eternal. And that's what Jesus Christ gives us. And the whole point of this show is like, look, if you can tell me how to be the most encouraging person on the planet, I'm in.
Yeah.
Come on, tell me. Somebody, anybody breathing. I don't care who you are. My goal is, an atheist to get on and say, no, look, I'm going to tell you. But one of the most encouraging things is that you can hand somebody a message and say, look, this will never end. It will never end. It will never end. And it's beautiful. I get the same thing, why are you Catholic, right? People ask me all the time, like, because, I see them, sure, I've evangelicals on our shows and comedians and all these different people with different belief systems. But why am I Catholic? Because guess what? It's never ended, and it's not going to end. And that's a truth that can't be taken away. And so I just want to personally thank both of you. This is an exciting year. We're doing such great things in sports, in the high schools with you, Jacob. If you guys don't know what he does, he goes into high schools, helps kids that are struggling, kids that just want to saw a base for their faith. Alex does that with athletes in the schools. And I can tell you that what we're doing is important, but who we are is more important. And I think that that's the best part of what I do, that I get to see you guys being great sons. And you are. That's the truth.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, look, I could fail at a job, but I can't fail at being a dad. I got to show up.
Yeah.
And people are like, how do you not fail? You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes every day, but I show up. 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 It was one of the most moving moments. It's in the film of the docuseries where one of our coaches was gone for a few months with different challenges they had. And it brought me to tears when I saw him show up for his son's graduation. I mean, I was like taken over. But I asked myself, like, why did that hit me so much? Why did just him walking in the room, just to sit by me, because who he is as a dad is so meaningful.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what he did wrong or right. Yeah, nothing. So just show up. Why don't you? Quit being so pride. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get so prideful. We get so ashamed.
Yeah.
Is somebody gonna remember that mistake you did? I remember I made a mistake about 12 years ago, not that I remembered it or anything, but 12 years, I made this mistake 12 years ago. And I remember it still to this day, like it was yesterday. I'll never forget. Why did I do it? Why? I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
But do you think anybody remembers it? No. Nobody but prideful me. So you made a mistake, we make mistakes, right? Move on, let go. Come on, Jacob, snap back. Come on, Alex, snap back. We got work to do. We're going to keep it going, but I just want to thank you and just if you guys could close us out, what are some practical ways that we can be the most encouraging person on the planet? I personally think I told one of my friends, Kalo, this is the most important podcast in the nation right now, and I'm going to try to be juicy.
There you go.
But I think like we're just not encouraging people.
Yeah.
We have all these different belief systems, all these different ways. We have to be the most encouraging person on the planet. So, Jacob, how could you give some practical advice for people to get out there and be encouraging? What could they do? One thing.
Yeah, give someone a hug.
All right.
That's a big one. Give someone a hug, especially those people that don't want your hug.
Well, I'm one of those people. Don't force it. You might be in jail or something. I'm joking.
There you go.
No, but yeah, go hug that person.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then also, I think don't be afraid to encourage somebody with other people in the room. Like call them out for good. Like that's a good
love
one.
That.
I do that in my family. It's
that's
fun.
great.
It's good. You got any?
Go tell your family you love them and you appreciate them.
Let's do it. You heard it from these young guys. These guys are the future leaders of the world, and they are encouraging people on this planet. The question is, are you? Are you the most encouraging person on the planet? You got to wake up tomorrow. You got to look yourself in the mirror today and ask yourselves that question. We're going to do our very best at that. But the question is, are you? And if there's anybody out there that thinks they know what it's all about to be the most encouraging person, come on. Tell me. I want to hear from you. I want to talk to you. Give us some comments and encourage somebody out there. May you be encouraged today. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Encouragement Conquers All podcast with Justin Fatica. Make sure to subscribe and follow to be notified when the newest episodes of the podcast go live. You can find contact information and important links in the show notes. Stay tuned for the next episode.